what do I mean by can't speak. What do I mean by flexible thinking and using it to still be happy even in a difficult situation? So I'm going to give you a proper worked example from my life rather than just a quick, short 60 seconds, although I will whiz through. It'll still be entertaining, don't worry. Okay, so I injured my leg about 2 years ago. I fell through a window, severed a tendon, didn't get repaired for a long time. And it was all looking a lot better until a few months ago where I re-injured it doing some exercise. And that has been very frustrating. There is no getting around it. It has been frustrating. It's very, very annoying. And of course, it's not what anybody wants, is it? It's like, yay, great, can't exercise again, can't do very much outside of the house, can't drive, I love going for walks, can't really walk, can't really exercise. I'm going to do some upper body stuff, but my favourite kind of exercise is really walking and swimming and stuff like that, although swimming is maybe becoming a bit more possible. But also just like even simple things like getting on a bus. My balance isn't very good because my left leg's really quite weak at the moment. So even stuff like that for socialising, I'm quite dependent on my partner driving me to things, and he's quite busy and he's been amazing. But so life has become very limited, and I love this house, but I do spend probably more time than I would wish to in it. It's limited my work, and it's limited how much money I can make. It's meant I've had to cancel like work trips. It's meant I've had to cancel a lot of stuff that I love doing. So none of this is like, yay, great. However, I literally, when it first happened, like the re-injury, let's say, because I kind of knew a bit more what I might be facing, I was like, okay, how are you going to deal with this in the best possible way for yourself? And I just thought, every time you think about limitations, what you need to think of is, what does that open up to you? Now, this will not always work, but if you can do it, it's really, really useful. So, for example, the first thing I thought was, okay, I've got to cancel this work trip that I really love doing. I make lots of money doing it. It's something I really enjoy. I had to cancel quite last minute, and I was really upset. And I just thought, but we've got a choice here. We can think about like what you're missing out on, which obviously you've got to think about that for a moment. But then I was like, but I'm getting back 10 days of time that I didn't think I'd have in my schedule, and I'm normally really, really busy. And so I can take that time to really do some creative work and really focus in on things that I don't normally have time to do. And that is what I did. And this TikTok channel is one of the results of that. So happy days. And something I've loved. I have loved talking to you guys. It's been amazing. So thank you for that. But that would never have happened if I'd rushed on tour and back home to this and then on shoots and da-da-da-da. So it opened out an opportunity. Now, I could have spent those 10 days feeling sorry for myself and just feeling shit. I've got a cat screaming at me. We'll talk about her in a minute. She's very moany. I don't want to be very moany. No, we don't want to be very moany, do we? It's annoying. Anyway. And then the other thing that has happened over the last few months, when I've been quite stuck in the house and I've had some work I could do, which I've really appreciated, but also I've had more time to enjoy the beautiful weather. As you can see, I'm very nicely tanned, and that's because I've been enjoying our beautiful garden. We've got a nice chair out there that I can stretch out in. I'm really comfortable. Vitamin D is I'm always banging on about vitamin D, but it's really good for you, really good for healing. But also it's just meant it feels like a little bit of a holiday. So at a time when there's lots of things I can't do, I've been like, oh, but I can sunbathe for an hour a day. How many people can do that in the middle of the day? So I've really embraced this great stuff. And I find that when I'm talking to people, when I'm thinking about stuff, like when I'm talking about my life, that is what I will focus on. If somebody's like, oh, what have you been doing? I'm like, oh, I'm so lucky. I've been able to sunbathe and I've been doing this and it's great. I've been doing this edit for something I love about and, producing for this guy that I love and all the rest of it. So I have very much focused in what I speak about, in terms of how I think, in terms of everything really, on the things that I can do, not the things I can't do, to the extent that sometimes people are asking me to do stuff I really just can't do. And I'm a bit like, you do realise I can just about get to the local shops, which are a 2-minute walk away, maybe once a day. And beyond that, my injury really starts to play up. So that's not really an option. So yeah, asking me to like wander, go for nice walks and this, that, and the other. Oh, let's go to the park. I'm like, I can't. But even then, I found that this is a tricky balance, I would say. On the one hand, I don't like saying I can't because it makes me feel like, oh, there's all this stuff I can't do. So often I'm just like, oh, I'm not available, or I can't fit that in, or thanks so much, but whatever. But I have been left thinking sometimes, I think maybe I need to be a little bit more clear with people and just be like, well, I can't do that at the moment. So you can keep on inviting me to this stuff. I'll let you know when I can. It might not be that imminent. And I think that is, yeah, that I can kind of find difficult how to navigate because in a sense, for my own well-being, I really like to stay in a very positive space, but then I can find myself getting a little bit like, oh, nobody seems to know me very well. It's like, okay, because you need to tell them facts, but in a way that keeps that positivity going, because that is how I feel inside. So for me, it's not a fake thing. So I would never say, what I'm not telling you to do. So I'm exploring this idea as I talk. So I'm sorry if it's a little bit rambly, but you know, it's a longer video. We'll get there. We'll get there. I'm not saying fake it until you feel something. I'm really not, because I don't think that works. So actually, if I've been upset or if I've been angry or whatever, I will talk to particularly my husband about it, but also to close friends. But it's actually that those feelings are very rarely coming up because, not because it's easy, not because, you know, sometimes people are like, oh, well, oh, because you just like being in the house. And I'm like, yes, I like being in the house. I also like leaving it. I like doing fun things. I like exercise. I like jumping around. I like not having to think about stuff. I like not being in pain. Everybody likes that shit, obviously. Sorry. It's not that I'm less attached to it than you are. I promise you it isn't. It's that I have found other things to be really attached to. I've found other things to be really happy and hopeful and grateful for. And if you do that, I think you'll find that your emotions will follow that. Because if you're genuinely, I got up this morning, the sun is shining, it was lovely. I was like, I've got time today. I've now got a busy week actually editing, but like today, this morning, I had some time, so I did lots of writing. And I thought, well, if my leg was in great condition, I would not have a couple of hours to write and write and write. And I also wouldn't have had time this afternoon to go outside and sunbathe for an hour and read my Agatha Christie. It was lovely. So I was just really grateful for all of that. So find what you're grateful for. That's my husband, who I'm also very grateful for. And good luck with whatever you're facing.